Hello, and thanks for watching. Welcome to part 5 of Road to Omega, a series of videos covering the Wipeout games leading up to the release of Wipeout Omega Collection on the PlayStation 4. In this video we'll be looking at Wipeout 3. So here it is, here's the original release from 1999. It's got quite a different looking art to the previous two releases, 3 if you count Wipeout 64. A bit more abstract, minimalist, and that's the original release. And also they've gone for spelling Wipeout with the 3 instead of an E, which, there we go. And then a year later, in 2000, they released the Wipeout 3 Special Edition. I think this is exclusive to PAL territories, and if you look closer you might be able to see it does have the same art from this release, just very faint in the background there. And they've reverted back to the normal spelling of Wipeout with the 3 on the end. I'm not sure if this caused confusion and they reverted back to this, but I actually like this better. I think it stands out more than that. And so this is special because it has lots of extra tracks, remakes from the first 2 games. And when I cut to the gameplay, we'll probably focus on this, as it has all of the content from the original release plus the extras. So I'll show this one off and just mention the differences. And then here's another version of it in a double pack with Destruction Derby 2. So you can get these quite widely available through eBay and such. And the DualShock is here because this is the first Wipeout to use the DualShock. And when I'm in the gameplay I'll talk about that a bit more because it uses the vibration in a cool way. But yeah, so let's cut over to some gameplay and we'll have a look. Okay, so here we are in Wipeout 3 Special Edition. As I mentioned in the intro, I'll focus on Special Edition and just mention where there's a few differences to the original. So this is the same opening that you get in both versions. It's quite cool with the ships going backwards and reforming after they've obviously exploded in combat or something. I quite like it. I like the Wipeout intros. They're quite short, but they're always quite cool. So yeah, when you see that little flicker of the cover art, it's the Special Edition cover art, and in the original it's Wipeout 3 obviously. And this is nice, you get a little short clip of each of the teams and their logos. So there are 8 teams in this game, a few new ones, all the classics from the previous games. So here we go, we're in the main menu, and as you can see it's very minimalist and pretty simple. Not the most amazing menu to look at, but that's what you want, and Wipeout games are always very good with menus. When we get to Wipeout HD I'll talk about that, because that is a very good menu system. Quick, easy to use, you get everything you need right there. Okay, so I've just done a quick cut there because I've put some cheats in to basically unlock everything so I can show you the ships and the tracks. So let's go into single race to begin with. Now in the standard version of Wipeout 3 you just go straight through to the Wipeout 3 League, but in the Special Edition you get these options here. You get the Wipeout 3 League and you've got your Classic League. So the Wipeout 3 League, 8 new tracks, great new tracks, good design, and in the Classic League you've got your 8 classic tracks, 3 from Wipeout 1, 5 from Wipeout 2097, all remade, all looking really sharp. We'll have a look at them later. So we'll go into Wipeout 3 first, and you do have the 4 speed classes. I've only got 3 unlocked here: Vector, Venom, Rapier, and then you can unlock Phantom as well, which is the fastest. We'll stick with Venom for now while I'm talking. And we'll start at the beginning. And here are the ships. You've got Faisal returning, new ship Goteki 45, Oricon returning, Piranha returning, Kyrex returning, AG Systems returning, Asegai, new ship, and Icarus, a new ship. So we'll start with Faisal. Like 2097, this game loads very quick, so you won't be looking at the screen very long. There you go. And like I mentioned in the opening, if you get to the right point on the speed bar, then the DualShock will actually rumble, telling you that you've got the speed boost. So that's quite a handy use of the DualShock controller. And you can probably already tell the game has a bit of a jump in graphics compared to 2097. It's smoother, and it's basically running in a high-res mode on the original PlayStation. Not many games did that, and I'm not sure of the technical side of it, what it entails, but it looks good, so it works for me. So this is the first track in the game, pretty simple, and I keep mentioning, if you aren't familiar with the series, the blue pads are speed pads and the coloured pads are weapon pads. It's like a futuristic Mario Kart. You're racing and using weapons to win. And as you can see, the game is a bit more minimalist than the previous titles. It's very clean looking futuristic racer this time out. Handles really well. Works well with the D-pad, works well with the analog stick as well. And another new feature I should mention actually is that the energy bar in the bottom right will be depleted when you press R1 on the controller, and basically that is a turbo boost. Instead of having a pickup, you now have free access to how much turbo you use, so you can wait for the opportune moment in a race and then use a bit of boost. And you can replenish your energy like 2097, which I will show you in a second. Here we go around here, and the pit lane is back from the previous games. Here we go, it's blue this time. That replenishes your energy. And there we go, that's the end of that first race. We'll just get out of here, go back to the main menu. And we'll do a time trial for the next one. Wipeout Free League. There we go, next track, Mega Mall. And Goteki 45, one of the new ships. There we go. So yeah, this game came out to pretty positive reviews at the time. It was pretty well received, but didn't do very well financially. It wasn't as successful as you'd hope. Not sure if it was a bad release window or it didn't grab people maybe as much. There definitely wasn't as much buzz around it as 2097. I remember that much. But it is a great entry in the series, and this package in particular, the special edition, you can't go wrong with the sheer amount of content in it. There's 16 standard tracks to race, 8 classic, 8 new, and also prototype tracks, which we will get into in a bit. But yeah, this track's quite nice. It's set in a mall, and you saw it just previously there. You go down a spiral. I'm coming back up to it in a moment. Quite a unique design. I've gone into time trial, but this is actually a good track to play in a race with fighting opponents and stuff down this spiral. But here it is. Yeah, it's quite a cool design for a track. And yeah, that kind of is reflected throughout the game. The track design's really good in this one. So yeah, we'll quit out now and cut to another track. So here we are on the next track in the Oricon. This ship retains its good handling from 2097. It's a good ship. And briefly talking about the weapons in the game, you have the offensive and defensive, and your helpful things like autopilot, stuff like that. Lots of the classic weapons like the mines that I've got now, shields, missiles, rockets, that sort of thing, Quake. And then a few new ones like there's a cloak that makes your ship slightly invisible, and there's a force wall which is great, which puts up a wall in front of you on the track. You can pass through it. There it is, that red thing. But the enemy ships can't, and they smash into it and stop. Very useful in the multiplayer games, because this game does have multiplayer, and we'll get to that later. Deflector, that means that rockets and missiles and that cannot hit you. But yeah, that's a quick look at that track. Let's go to the next one. Okay, here we are on the next track, and I've switched to the Piranha. And I managed to get the speed boost this time. And if anyone played the Wipeout 3 demo, then you'll remember this track because it's from the demo. I did a previous video on loads of the Wipeout demos, so check that out if you like. And yeah, briefly on the soundtrack, it's got Chemical Brothers, Orbital, Propellerheads, and DJ Sasha does a couple of tracks, I believe. It's a good soundtrack. Maybe not as solid as 2097, but not many of the games are. But it's not, like I say, it's not bad, and none of the Wipeouts really have a bad soundtrack. So yeah, it's pretty solid. There we go, that's that track. Let's cut to another one. So here we go, we're in the classic Kyrex, and next track. And just speaking of the special edition in general, it's not just new tracks. It has bug fixes from the original game, and a few graphical tweaks, like the lighting's been changed here and there. And there's a few things like if you get a perfect lap, you will get a little symbol next to the time telling you managed to achieve it. Little things like that, it just makes the game a bit better. Things that I've overlooked, I didn't have time to put into the original. And this is quite a cool track, but I'm really not doing very well on it. I've said in previous videos I'm definitely not the best Wipeout player, but it's fun. But yeah, that's a quick look at that one. Let's cut to the next one. Alright, here we are in the AG Systems, another classic. And this track's quite cool. It's a bit different from the gritty cities that we've had so far. It's outdoors, so it's a bit of variation on the environment. It's quite nice. And just touching on my history with the game, I played the demo quite a lot before getting the actual game. I didn't get it at release, and my friend got the game, so I spent a lot of time playing the game with him, split screen, and hopefully I'll show you a bit of split screen later on. You can split the game horizontally or vertically in this one, so it's good to have the option, and it's a lot of fun with two players. Nice jump there on this track. And there we go. Yeah, so let's go look at the next track. Okay, so we're on the next track with Assegai, one of the new ships. And this track is quite reminiscent of one of the later tracks in Wipeout 2097, where the track is broken up from an earthquake. It's very similar to that, in that there are pieces of track separated from the other parts. Like that. quite a good track, got a bit of good flow to it. And yeah, that's a look at that, so let's cut to the next one. Right, so here we are in the Icarus ship. Another new ship, a very fast ship. And this is the last track in the standard Wipeout 3 League. Bit more of a technical track because your difficulties increased as you play through, obviously. But yeah, that's a look at that one. Okay, so we've had a look at the Wipeout 3 League tracks, so now we're going to have a look at some of the Classic League tracks. And for the first one, we're going to look at it in 2-player split screen. We're going to have vertical split for this one. And the first track is Talon's Reach from Wipeout 2097. So that's a quick look at that, so we'll cut to the next thing. Okay, so now we're going to play Ultima from Wipeout 1 with horizontal split. Okay, so let's have a look at the next track. Right, so this is Sagarmatha from 2097. I think I'm saying that right. I'm not actually sure. Possibly saying it right. But yeah, this is a bit brighter than the original. The icy track's quite sharp on the eye. But yeah, it's quite nice to look at. They all play great in the Wipeout 3 engine, so it's fantastic, really. And there we go, that's a quick look at that one. And we'll cut across to another one. So here we go, Phoenicia Park from 2097. And it's quite cool because they retain the feel from the original game they're from, but they also have the minimalist look that Wipeout 3 has. And I do prefer the look of 2097, I think, but they're so smooth and they play so well, it's hard not to like them, really. So here we go, I'll just finish up this track and then cut over to another one for you. Okay, so this is Terra Max from the original Wipeout. Another exterior track, so that's quite nice. Bit of greenery to look at again. And I'll switch the interior view for this. There's 3 views in this game. You've got the interior like this, and then if I press it again, you've got the interior cockpit view. And I am not the best Wipeout player, and I'm even worse when I'm playing on the interior views, so apologies. But yeah, that's what that looks like. Quite immersive, I guess. It's not for me, but I'm glad it's in there, so if anyone fancies it, they can play it like that. Always good to have the option. So yeah, let's look at the next track. Okay, so here's Garda Europa from 2097. Quite a well-known track. It was in the demo for that game. It's a really good remake, this. It has lost a bit of the atmosphere from the original. It's lighter. Like the tunnels are a bit lighter. But it plays well. All of the remakes play well in this game. Considering they're playing in a different engine, they work. They fit in. Yeah, I'll just finish this lap and then we'll cut to the next one. There's the fireworks. I've added some nice fireworks for you there. They weren't in the original. And this is Odessa Keys from 2097. I like the countdown. That character's called Curly. And each game has a different kind of countdown, 3, 2, 1, go, or in some of the other games they don't have a 3, 2, 1, which is a bit different, but yeah, that one's one of my favourites. I like it. It's building on the atmosphere of the world itself with all the ads and such. Having a little character doing the countdown, it's quite nice. So yeah, some more fireworks there like on the previous track. And there we go. Let's look at the next one. Right, so this is Aridos from Wipeout 1. The Rocky Canyon track, if you remember. And yeah, so speaking of the game in general, it is a bit of a shame it was only a PAL release. Like, all these remakes and things, big fans of the series in the States and probably other territories missed out on it. It's a bit of a shame. And I know some of these tracks have never been remade since. So yeah, that's a bit unfortunate, but like I think I mentioned in the intro that you can quite easily find these on eBay and stuff. So yeah, I recommend it if you like the series. It's really nice having quite a lot of content in one package. Yeah, so that's a look at the last remake track. Right, so here we are on the main menu. I'll just briefly mention it's got challenge mode, and basically you've got your race challenge where you're racing to finish in certain position. Time challenge, it's like a time trial, and weapon challenge is how many eliminations you can get. And you can play all these in any of the leagues. It's quite cool. Tournament, It's pretty obvious what that is. And a prototype, which I'll briefly show you now. So again, I've unlocked these, and these are the prototype tracks. So let's just go in and we'll look at one. Piranha, why not? So yeah, these are like unfinished tracks, and you can see from the graphics what I mean by that. Even the ships look a bit primitive. And so yeah, again, it's just more content. I think there's, I can't remember how many there are, there's 6 or maybe 8 of these. So that on top of the 16 regular tracks. It's quite cool. So another thing I should show you is, there you go. If I do it again, you can press the L1 button, and this is new in this game. You can look behind you. Something we take for granted these days in games, but this is the first time I believe it's in the Wipeout series. So you can drop some mines and look back and watch them blow up in someone's face. So that's nice. There you go. But yeah, that's a quick look at the prototype track, and I think we've covered pretty much everything really. So that's been Wipeout 3 Special Edition. It is the best version of the game, so if you can get hold of it, get this one. It's a solid release for the PlayStation 1. And yeah, so stay tuned for more videos.